Last year, a marketing study called the warehouse retailer the #1 gay-friendly brand in America, partly because of its domestic partner benefits. Why would you serve on a company whose policies seem to run counter to your views on homosexuality?
Well, obviously you don't understand my views on homosexuality. I believe that our Constitution protects everybody, regardless of their sexual orientation or any other aspect. I also believe that marriage is between one man and one woman, and that there is no reason that you can't be perfectly fair to the gay community. They shouldn't automatically assume that because you believe that marriage is between one man and one woman, that you are a homophobe. The fact of the matter is, we the American people are not each other's enemies. It's those people who are trying to divide us who are the enemies, and we need to make that very clear to everybody.
That was Dr. Ben Carson, earning one of his biggest applause lines of the night as he pushed back on a question that seemed to suggest he's anti-gay. Just one of several moments where Carson had to defend against pointed questions on his social views. Joining me now, Dr. Ben Carson, Republican presidential candidate. Doctor, good to see you again tonight. So what did you think of the questions and the questioners tonight?
Well, I think they obviously had an agenda, and when I compare them to the kind of questions that were asked of the Democrats in their debate, the difference is night and day. But the thing that was really encouraging to me is that the audience was able to pick up on the bias, and they were able to act accordingly. And I hope some of the media is starting to recognize this, because as you know, I have been quite critical of the media. They have their own agenda. They try to formulate the opinions of the people, and I think that people are getting a little sick and tired of it. I know I am.
You wound up with very little time speaking on the stage tonight. You were second to last in terms of the overall time. The only person behind you was Rand Paul, and only by a few seconds. And on the other hand, Carly Fiorina, Marco Rubio up towards the top. Do you think that hurt you, or do you think it was a non-factor? What do you think?
I don't think it was much of a factor, quite frankly. I'm not sure that many people even watched the debate. I mean, it's on against the World Series, and it's on an obscure network. So, I mean, good luck with that.
Do you think it changes the momentum? Because you went into this debate tonight as the front runner, according to the latest national poll, and certainly in Iowa as the front runner, according to the latest 3 or 4 polls in that state. Do you think anything happened tonight to change your momentum or change the dynamics of the race?
I don't think so. I've been told that we were #1 on Facebook, and I think #1 on Twitter also throughout the debate. So obviously still getting quite a lot of traction. And just, in the last 24, 48 hours, the number of contributions that have come in have been overwhelming.
You are getting some pushback tonight on Twitter and online because of an exchange you had with a moderator about a company called Manitech. This is a company for which you did some speeches, and in your answer you said you had no relationship with them. You did talk about your speeches. Let's just play the exchange, and then I'll ask you about it.
There's a company called Manitech, a maker of nutritional supplements, with which you had a 10-year relationship. They paid $7 million to settle a deceptive marketing lawsuit in Texas, and yet your involvement continued. Why?
Well, that's easy to answer. I didn't have an involvement with them. That is total propaganda. And this is what happens in our society, total propaganda. I did a couple of speeches for them. I did speeches for other people. They were paid speeches. It is absolutely absurd to say that I had any kind of a relationship with them.
To be fair, you were on the homepage of their website with the logo over your shoulder.
If somebody put me on their homepage, they did it without my permission.
Does that not speak to your vetting process or judgment in any way?
No, it speaks to the fact that I don't know that it's going on. See, they know.
And now the pushback has been pointing to a Wall Street Journal article that posted a link to a video of you in 2011 getting applause by telling Manitech associates that indeed Manitech had donated money to some part of $2.5 million to help you get an endowed chair at Johns Hopkins. People saying, of course, you must have had a relationship, and that would be a significant factor in it. Your response to that?
My response to that is I had asked them, in lieu of my fee, to make the donation to the chair. I thought they were going to do it. They didn't. So I was mistaken. They never did. But that's the explanation.
Do you feel that the moderators were genuinely searching for answers from you tonight, or was it more, in your view, a setup to try to hit you and hit everybody up there in a way that might be embarrassing?
Oh, clearly it was a gotcha setup. Each question that they asked, and I was glad that Senator Cruz called them out on what they were doing. It didn't change what they were doing because they had preset agenda, but nevertheless, it helps the people of America to be able to see what's going on. And I think this is going to be critical to what happens in our election next year. Will the people actually be able to understand how traditionally they have been manipulated and herded, and will they begin to think for themselves? And of course, Thomas Jefferson was the one who said that they would. He said we would reach this point where the government got too big, infiltrated, and tried to dominate our lives. Here we have the media being complicit with it. But that the people would wake up, recognize what was going on, rise up, and regain control. And I believe that that's exactly what's happening right now.
Quick last question, Doctor. Donald Trump went out in Iowa and said, what the H is going on here? Get out there and get my poll numbers back up. Do you have any message for the Iowans who may have heard that?
Well, I'm not worried about the Iowans. They're very, very solid people. And, I've been out to some of the little hamlets where there are only 300 or 400 people. But, they are salt of the earth, and they're not going to be swayed by showmanship. They're going to be swayed by facts.
Doctor, great to see you.
All right, you too. Thanks,
All the
Megyn.
best.